Welcome to Storyflix. In this video, we will explain Love Me Not. This movie tells the story of a young man who just got out of prison and has a big debt. Taking advantage of his late friend, who is rich, he pretends to be a member of his best friend's family to earn money. Will he succeed in getting the money and paying off his debts? Let's find out in Love Me Not. Love Me Not tells the story of Ryoo Min, a blind girl attending her father's funeral. Her father's death practically made her the sole heir to the family fortune. However, she seemed to have lost her intention to live. The scene then shows a man who just got out of prison, Julian, a high-profile playboy who works as a host at a nightclub called Adonis. On the day of Julian's freedom, he was picked up by his partner, Tae-ho. Julian expects Tae-ho not to come alone, but with one person, who is very important to him, Yoo-jin. But sadly, Yoo-jin is dead, and Tae-ho only brought his ashes with him. After conversing for a while, they headed straight for Adonis. Julian was greeted like a king who had just returned from war, and he is indeed the #1 host at Adonis, and his arrest has left customers wondering where he's been all this time. After receiving the welcome, Julian went to his boss to borrow money, but instead of giving him money, his boss scolded him. The boss had heard rumors of Julian, who was about to leave the club after he managed to swindle rich customers for their money. In addition, the boss had also known that Julian had been deceiving him all along, saying that Julian was abroad when he was actually in prison. Julian was then forced to leave empty-handed, with Tae-ho still faithfully accompanying him. But they were almost hit by a speeding truck from the opposite direction on the way. Furious, Tae-ho immediately got out of his car and yelled at the truck driver, telling him to get off. The truck driver complied, then he casually got out of the truck, got into Tae-ho's driver's seat, and stared intently at Julian. On the other hand, Julian knew the truck driver very well. He is Kwang-soo, the debt collector who Julian has always avoided all this time. Without further ado, Kwang-soo then mentioned a debt of $2.87 million, which Julian had to pay off within 1 month. If Julian couldn't pay when it was due, he would die. Julian couldn't help but panic when he heard that, and he tried to negotiate. But Kwang-soo didn't care about Julian's difficulty. He had to pay his debts. During Julian's difficulties, a call came to Yoo-jin's cell phone, which was now held by Julian. The caller, Yoo-jin's father's lawyer, did not know that Yoo-jin had died. The lawyer actually wanted to discuss inheritance. As if getting a chance in the middle of adversity, Julian immediately looked for more in-depth information about Yoo-jin's family. From Julian's investigations, he discovered that Yoo-jin's parents were dead and that Yoo-jin came from a wealthy family. The only surviving member of Yoo-jin's family is Yoo-jin's younger sister. Hearing that, Tae-ho suggests that Julian deliver Yoo-jin's ashes to his family, hoping that his rich family will give Julian some money for her kindness. Julian listened carefully to Tae-ho's advice, though he seemed to have other plans. Julian wanted the inheritance of Yoo-jin's family, and to make his wish come true, he watched Yoo-jin's family footage to observe all the details about them and Yoo-jin. The next day, Julian visits Yoo-jin's family mansion to carry out his plan by pretending to be Yoo-jin. While Tae-ho, who accompanied Julian, acted as his assistant. Julian was ushered in unexpectedly, where he was greeted by 3 of Yoo-jin's family confidants. They are Mrs. Lee, the housekeeper, Mr. Oh, the person in charge of running the family company after Yoo-jin's father died, and Ki-young, the lawyer. Ki-young then tests Julian to prove that he is really Yoo-jin. With Julian acting skills that had been honed as a playboy and a con artist, as well as a little improvisation, he could outwit the 3 of them. It wasn't long before Ryoo Min, who was none other than Yoo-jin's sister, appeared. The 2 of them have been separated for a long time because of their parents' divorce. So that's why the 3 family confidants didn't know about Yoo-jin's death, and they didn't even know what he looked like. But unlike the 3 people, it seems Ryoo Min is not easily fooled by the fake brother's acting. Ryoo Min didn't even hesitate to chase Julian away and hit him in the face with a stick, making Tae-ho try his best not to laugh at the sight in front of Julian. But Ryoo Min's refusal did not make Julian give up so easily, and the 3 confidants of the family did not chase him away. Long story short, Julian starts living with Ryoo Min, and slowly but surely, he starts trying to change her cold but childish behavior. Julian started by telling Ryoo Min to finish her food. But predictably, she did not take this ethical advice well. One day, Julian invited elementary school children to play in the yard. But Ryoo Min, who doesn't like crowds, intends to kick them out of the house. Julian certainly wasn't happy with what she had to say, and in return, he said that it was her who should have gone out of the house. Julian said just because Ryoo Min couldn't see didn't mean she had to lock herself up in the house. Hearing that, Ryoo Min immediately left the house, and she didn't do it because she was following Julian's orders, but out of anger. Julian then follows Ryoo Min to keep an eye on her, though without Julian knowing, he is being followed by Kwang-soo. Kwang-soo then witnessed how Julian desperately tried to convince Ryoo Min to believe him. But mere words could not make Ryoo Min trust Julian because, after all, she felt that her brother had left her alone all this time. He was never there when she needed him. After saying all that, she immediately left him. Julian's time was running out, and because of that, he couldn't just let Ryoo Min go. Julian must be able to convince Ryoo Min, so he followed her along the railroad tracks. A few moments later, the sound of a train was heard approaching, and it occurred to Julian to let Ryoo Min be hit by a train because, after all, if she died, he would get all of the Ryoo family's inheritance. But unexpectedly, as the train drew nearer, Ryoo Min tearfully asked Julian to let her die. And Julian responded to Ryoo Min's request by pulling her a few moments before the train hit her. Later that night, Julian calls Tae-ho to ask for his help getting 2 items. Without any difficulties, the next day, Tae-ho had brought the things Julian ordered. A stick and poison pills, which Julian planned to give to Ryoo Min as a present. Julian then takes Ryoo Min for a walk to the night market, where he casually tells her that he will give her a poison gift. After all, Ryoo Min wanted to die, and Julian wanted to help her get what she wanted. Julian's confession clearly took Ryoo Min by surprise, but then he calmed her down, saying he was just joking. After that, Julian left Ryoo Min alone in the crowd and watched her. Julian did it to help Ryoo Min deal with her discomfort from crowds. After watching Ryoo Min for a while, Julian returned and apologized to her, while lying that he had gotten lost. Ryoo Min quickly forgave Julian because she began to believe him after the train incident. Ryoo Min even believed it when Julian said he would always protect her. They then decided to watch a drama show. But in the middle of the show, Ryoo Min suddenly touched Julian's face because she wanted to know her older brother's face. But Ryoo Min frankly said that Julian's face was different from what she had imagined. After returning from the night market, Ryoo Min is ill. Lee then asked Mr. Oh, also Ryoo Min's fiancé, to take her to the hospital. Hearing that, Julian insisted that he take her to the hospital because he didn't want to bother Mr. Oh. The next day, while taking Ryoo Min for treatment, Julian had a chance to meet the family doctor, who turned out to have known Yoo Jin since he was little. Julian immediately panicked when he knew this fact, afraid that his lie would be exposed by the doctor. But then again, his acting skills can save him and keep his secret safe. While waiting for Ryoo Min to be examined, Julian meets Tae-ho and Kwang-soo. The 3 of them then talked about the progress of Julian's plan, unaware that Lee had heard them from afar. Inevitably, Lee becomes suspicious of Julian and doubts that he is really Yoo Jin. After treatment, Ryoo Min then chose a wedding dress and jewelry ring, accompanied by Lee. But when Lee gets home, she immediately tells Ki-young and Mr. Oh what she heard at the hospital. To confirm that Julian is indeed Yoo Jin, she suggests that they do a DNA test. But the next day, without Lee knowing, Julian takes Ryoo Min to town to get her used to interacting with the crowd. Their efforts paid off. Ryoo Min's courage to talk to people began to grow, and she even asked a stranger to lead her. After that, Ryoo Min went to the jewelry shop she visited yesterday with Lee. When Ryoo Min was choosing the ring she would buy, the shop clerk suddenly asked her if she wanted to buy one for her boyfriend. Ryoo Min denies it, saying she wants to gift the ring to her brother, whose birthday is tomorrow, and Julian is stunned to hear her words. When Ryoo Min came out of the shop, she suddenly fainted and turned people around into panic. On the other hand, Julian just stared at Ryoo Min without doing anything. Julian seemed doubtful whether he should help her or just let it be. Fortunately, someone moved quickly to help Ryoo Min. He is none other than Ki-young, who always follows Julian wherever he goes. Not long after, Ryoo Min was rushed to the hospital, but seems not in good condition. Even so, Ryoo Min still thought about Julian's ring. Luckily, Julian noticed that the ring for him had fallen in front of the shop. Julian then picked it up and put it on his finger before telling Tae-ho that he wanted to go out drinking alone. But after separating from Tae-ho, Julian immediately rushed to the hospital to check on Ryoo Min's condition. Unfortunately, the doctor found that Ryoo Min had a brain tumor based on the examination. If only Ryoo Min had the surgery before, her condition wouldn't be as bad as now. After Ryoo Min wakes up, she immediately apologizes to Julian for losing his birthday ring. But Julian just kept quiet without telling Ryoo Min that he had found and worn the ring. The look on Julian's face showed that his feelings for her had changed. But the next day, Julian was worried again when he heard that there was a possibility that Ryoo Min's vision could recover if her surgery went well. During Julian's anxiety, Ryoo Min invites him to look for fireflies to celebrate his birthday. Arriving at their destination, Julian decided to lie by saying that he saw a lot of fireflies in that place. But Ryoo Min knew he was lying because she knew that fireflies were only seen a few months after his birthday. Hearing that, Julian promised that he would never lie to Ryoo Min again. A moment later, it started to rain, and it was at this point that Ryoo Min thanked Julian and flashed a faint smile. Meanwhile, Julian's DNA test results are finally out at the hospital. As one would expect, Julian's true identity was exposed. Of course, as soon as Julian and Ryoo Min came home, Lee took her anger out on Julian because he had dared to lie to them all. But unexpectedly, Ryoo Min defended Julian and instead accused Lee of hiding the letters Eugene had written to Ryoo Min. In the evening, Julian met Ryoo Min while she was playing in the park. After talking for a while, Ryoo Min showed Julian the letter from Eugene and Julian's photo. In the letter, Eugene explained that he wanted to be like the person in the photo, which he thought was really cool, and he had great respect for that. Julian was touched to hear Eugene's confession. Julian now faces a dilemma, whether to continue with his plan or stop. In the end, Julian chooses to stop the plan. Then Julian wrote a letter apologizing to Ryoo Min and went to her room to hand it over. But before Julian reaches Ryoo Min's room, he overhears a conversation between Lee and Mr. Oh, who apparently wants to take control of the Yoo family property. Julian went to the family doctor and told him about Lee and Oh's plans without wasting any time. On the other hand, the doctor revealed that Lee and Oh had always been trying to delay Ryoo Min's surgery. With this, it was clear that they wanted Ryoo Min dead. And as if it couldn't get any worse, now Ryoo Min and Julian are both running out of time. Julian has to pay off his debt quickly, while Ryoo Min has to undergo surgery if she is to stay alive. Meanwhile, Ryoo Min herself secretly came to Adonis without telling Julian. Luckily, Taeho saw Ryoo Min on the street and he rushed to call Julian. In the middle of Ryoo Min's search for Adonis, she meets two thugs and asks them to take her to Adonis. The thugs then took advantage of Ryoo Min's disability to take her down a deserted alley. Fortunately, before the thugs could do anything bad to Ryoo Min, Julian arrived just in time, and he immediately beat them up without asking a word, then took the frightened Ryoo Min away. Julian and Ryoo Min went home in silence. But then, Ryoo Min suddenly broke the silence by saying that she wished Julian wasn't her brother because she had fallen in love with him. As if confused about what to say, Julian only responded in silence. Arriving in front of the house, Julian asked Ryoo Min to wait in the car. Alone, Julian confronts Lee and Mr. Oh and exposes their evil plans. But they were still able to maintain their calm. And Lee said in a quiet tone that Julian was no better than them because he had been tricking Ryoo Min all along. Lee, Mr. Oh, and Julian didn't know that Ryoo Min heard their conversation behind the door. Naturally, Ryoo Min became disappointed after knowing that the people she trusted were only after her family's property. Ryoo Min was heartbroken, then she ran outside, and it was at this moment that Julian finally noticed her presence. Julian then chased after Ryoo Min and found her outside, about to consume the poison he had given her. As if moved by reflex, Julian stopped Ryoo Min from doing so. With teary eyes, Ryoo Min then asked Julian about his true identity. But before Julian could answer, Ryoo Min had answered her own question. Ryoo Min already knew that Julian was pretending to be Eugene. Julian was obviously shocked to hear that, but he still tried to convince her that who he really was didn't matter because he would protect her. To convince Ryoo Min that Julian could be trusted, he swallowed the poison pill before her, even though he had previously discarded the contents. The next morning, Ryoo Min cooked a meal and invited Lee, Julian, and the others to have breakfast together. During the awkwardness that filled the dining room, Ryoo Min asked the attorney to hand out envelopes to Julian, Lee, and Mr. Oh. Ryoo Min explained that the envelopes contained her thanks to them. But actually, the envelopes were a sign of Ryoo Min's disappointment in them. Their show has ended, and Ryoo Min asks them to stop pretending in front of her, and she promises to give them what they want as long as they all leave her house. During those few minutes, Ryoo Min railed against Lee and Mr. Oh, but she never targeted Julian. Obviously, Lee didn't accept it, so she started to corner and blame Julian. However, Ryoo Min defends Julian, saying that she has fallen in love with her brother, as known as Julian. After everything was settled, Julian left Ryoo Min, but before he left, she asked him to forget everything that had happened between them, as if they had never known each other. Now Ryoo Min is alone in the family mansion. She then enters Julian's or Eugene room and finds Eugene's musical toy. Ryoo Min played with the toy as tears rolled down her cheeks. After some time, Julian returns to his original habitat, works as a host, and he never pays his debts to Kwang-soo. But behind Julian's carefree life, he still can't get Ryoo Min out of his head. Therefore, while Ryoo Min is preparing to undergo surgery, Julian secretly goes to Geun-Young to return the money from Ryoo Min and the letter he wrote to her. Julian asks Geun-Young to give her the money and the letter when she wakes up after surgery. After that, Julian threw away the ring that Ryoo Min gave him. Geun-Young keeps his promise to Julian and meets Ryoo Min. It's just that Geun-Young came to Ryoo Min not after the operation, but before. While giving Ryoo Min a letter from Julian, Geun-Young also revealed that Julian had prepared her operation. A glimmer of a smile crossed Ryoo Min's face when she heard that, and she wanted to see Julian again soon. Sometime later, Julian appears at the airport, about to go somewhere far away to escape his debts. Julian didn't know that at the same time, Ryoo Min went to the club, where he worked to look for him. But just as Julian was about to leave, he suddenly got a call from Kwang-soo, who apparently knew about his escape plan from Taeho. Julian then picked up the phone and was surprised to hear who was on the other end of the line. Instead of Kwang-soo, Julian heard Ryoo Min's voice. Julian rushed out of the airport to meet Ryoo Min without wasting time. Ryoo Min didn't know that Kwang-soo used her as bait to trap Julian. The deadline for paying Julian's debt was almost up, and according to their agreement, Julian had to die if he couldn't pay the debt. But later, while the two await Julian's arrival, Ryoo Min reveals to Kwang-soo that she will soon be experiencing surgery. If the operation fails, Ryoo Min wouldn't be able to see Julian again. Therefore, Ryoo Min had to meet Julian at this time. Time keeps running until the deadline for paying the debt runs out. At this moment, Julian had just arrived at where Ryoo Min and Kwang-soo were waiting. Julian begged Kwang-soo to give him a little more time to talk to Ryoo Min, but his request was not granted. Instead, Kwang-soo stabs Julian repeatedly until he collapses. Realizing Julian was dying, Ryoo Min immediately shouted for help. But sadly, it was too late. With the last of Julian's strength, he grabbed Ryoo Min's hand and said that he loved her, then she burst into tears. By the end of the movie, Ryoo Min's eyesight is fully recovered and she reads Julian's letter, in which, through the letter, Julian confesses all his feelings for her. After that, Ryoo Min ran in the middle of the snow, reminiscing her brother's memory until she stopped in front of a big tree. Ryoo Min then closed her eyes for a while until she finally felt someone's presence, and when she opened her eyes again, Julian was standing in front of her. The moral that can be learned from this movie is not to sacrifice someone's life for our sake. And true love can come at an unspecified time.